Alvarez, who only had 4 goals and 6 assists during the regular season, went off yesterday in Game 1 of the Major Arena Soccer League Central Division Championship Series, scored 3 goals in the game. Player to watch for the Cedar Rapids Rampage, midfielder number 11, Mario Alvarez. Also keep an eye on number 3, midfielder Gordy Gerson. This man leads the way in the regular season for Cedar Rapids with 30 goals and 19 assists. Yesterday, in Game 1 of the MASL Central Division Championship Series, Gordy had a goal and 3 assists. They call him names like Kid Dynamite or Captain America. We call him midfielder number 3, Gordy Gerson. Now for your Milwaukee Wave. It is all about the midfielders. Check this out from Game 1 yesterday, the MASL Central Division Championship Series. To the video board, ladies and gentlemen.
Play resumes with Marky on the ball.
And there's the game. Ian Bennett with the chest goal. Hey, big players show up in big games, and Ian shows up again.
All I can say is this. Let's take a look at the replay.
Liaison to Ian.
Wow.
I mean, that's just a good finish.
That's something that
you don't really expect that with the chest.
Peter, that's something that you learned in FIFA.
Oh,
that is definitely you learned in FIFA.
Ian's definitely done that before.
From the UW Milwaukee Panther Arena in downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin, it's the Major Arena Soccer League. Today, the Milwaukee Wave taking on the Cedar Rapids Rampage. And a pleasant good day. Tom Wynn, along with the Wave Hall of Famer Art Kramer, will bring you the play-by-play from today's game. Game 2 of the Central Division playoffs, the quarterfinals, if you will, of the MASL's Ron Newman Cup. Art game 1 yesterday down in Chicago, neutral site game. That one had a little bit of everything, and the Wave emerged with a 9-8 overtime victory. If today's game is anything like that one was, we should really have quite a show here today.
Yeah, the stars came out for both teams. For Cedar Rapids, Gordy Gerson, their captain, a goal and 3 assists. But for the Wave, just outstanding performances from Rafa Diaz, the backup goalie, came in and stood on his head yesterday. He had Marcio Leite, a goal and 4 assists. I counted 9 blocks for Marcio. And then Max Ferdinand, 2 goals, 3 assists. And then the hero, as he's done time and time again over the years, Ian Bennett with the game winner 47 seconds into overtime.
Rafa Diaz pressed into duty again with the injury to the Wave's #1 goalie, Josh Lemos. Rafa will be out there again today, Art. He's been sensational since called on by Coach Giuliano Oliviero. Can he do it again today?
Well, what's going to be interesting to watch is can Rafa hold up for another 60 minutes? He hasn't played back-to-back games since he's taken over for Josh Lemos. And so Matt Isold, who will be backing Rafa up, needs to be ready in this one in case Rafa can't go the distance. But Rafa, as I said, outstanding yesterday and brings back memories here of Nick Foles, who led the Philadelphia Eagles to the championship. We're hoping Rafa can put together a Nick Foles-type performance in this year's playoffs.
If Cedar Rapids does win the regular game, we would then have a Game 3 mini-game succeeding this one. So Milwaukee hoping to see if they can wrap it up during regulation today. Cedar Rapids hoping they can force the mini-game in the first postseason series ever between the 2 teams. Stay with us here. We're coming back with more. This is Wave Soccer and MASL TV and Spectrum Sports.
And so we are just about set to go. Game 2 of this Central Division playoff series between the Milwaukee Wave and the Cedar Rapids Rampage. Tom Wynn along with Wave legend and Hall of Famer Art Kramer, and we greet you wherever you may be. The city of Milwaukee, Milwaukee County, the state of Wisconsin, Cedar Rapids, the state of Iowa, the United States of America, the North American continent, the planet Earth, the International Space Station, or worlds beyond. Welcome one and all. And Art, as we said in the pregame, if this game is anything like it was yesterday, it should be quite a show for the fans here at Panther Arena.
We can only hope it matches up to yesterday's epic classic from the Odeum in Chicago, where fortunately for Wave fans, the Wave prevails with an overtime winner by Ian Bennett. His 52nd goal of the year, including regular season and playoffs.
Ian had 2 goals and assists yesterday. Max Ferdinand, 2 goals, 3 assists. Marcio Lieti, a goal and a couple of assists. And he had the game-winning assist on a beautiful serve into the box for Ian on the redirected headed. The Wave now all-time in postseason. In this, its 34th season with a record of 59 and 48, 17 and 29 on the road. They are now 26 and 17 in game ones, including an 8 and 10 mark on the road. Shot in, saved by Diaz and chipped up over, and still trying to discern who touched it last. The Wave will be a corner kick coming for the Rampage. Yesterday was Cedar Rapids' first playoff game ever.
And right off the bat, Cedar Rapids goalkeeper Reiner House comes forward, takes a shot that Rafa at the far post stopped, and there's Gordy Gerson on the rebound.
Gerson, their leading scorer during the regular season. Shot save, Rafa, rebound, follow! Another save by Rafa as he stopped Mario Alvarez. Alvarez with a hat trick yesterday to spark Cedar Rapids offensively. Now the ball sent ahead, Bennett. Bennett racing up, here comes Ian. He hammers a shot, the save made by House.
Big save by Rafa on the restart for Cedar Rapids. And then on the counterattack the other way, Reiner House with his first save of the game.
So both keepers off and rolling, so to speak, here in the beginning of the contest. This is one of 3 playoff series which will conclude today in the Major Arena Soccer League, the Ron Newman Cup playoffs. The divisional round, which is the quarterfinals. Milwaukee, of course, leading this series 1-0. I should say there are 2 others to be completed. There was one completed last night in San Diego. The San Diego Sockers able to come back from a 1-0 deficit and defeat the Tacoma Stars 9-3 in the regular game and then 6-2 in the minigame. So they will advance to the Western Conference Finals against the winner of tonight's playoff series between Sonora de Sonoles and El Flash de Monterrey. And then on the eastern side, the winner of this series will play the winner of the Baltimore-Syracuse series going on in Baltimore tonight. Baltimore with a 1-0 lead in that one. Layoff on the far side. Shot by Chamali and a good stop by Haas. And Reiner Haas in the zone here early.
That extra touch right there by Chamali allowed House to set his feet at the far post and come out and make the save.
I almost didn't recognize Chino without his ponytail. Leite plays it in, it's knocked away.
Didn't recognize Chino without his ponytail, and it's hard to recognize Reiner House. He's actually got a jersey on today, Tom, instead of the Cedar Rapids t-shirt that he likes to sport.
Yeah, that was... And not only that, but there wasn't a heck of a lot of contrast between that. Now, granted, for our older eyes, there wasn't as much contrast. But I got to believe on the field art, they could have made him wear a lighter colored jersey than he had on yesterday.
See him wearing that T-shirt during games. You expect him to roll up the sleeves and with something underneath it.
He's out of the Danny Waltman school of goalkeeper dress.
Looking like the Fonz in the goal.
Rapids on the attack. They're wearing blue and white, going right to left as we look at it. And we get a foul called as Alex Bradley got tied up on the far side. Bradley, the rookie out of Loris, which is in Dubuque, Iowa. He's actually a native of Great Britain.
Yesterday, Tom, Cedar Rapids won the specialty teams battle 4-2. They scored 2 restart goals and 2 power play goals. You saw in the first minute, the Wave giving up way too much space on the corner kick, and Gerson had another good look to his teammate at the far post.
Wave kept the wraps on Kid Dynamite Gordy Gerson for the most part yesterday. He did have a goal.
Well, a goal and 3 assists.
So I guess not as much total as far as total points go. But they limited him to 1 goal, and I will say Rafa did have to make a couple of good stops on him as well to prevent him from scoring more goals. Max, top of the area, fires a shot. House is there to make the save.
I like the approach by Max, though. We saw it yesterday after the first quarter where Max struggled a little bit. He became much more direct in his approach. And right there, not wasting any time to get a good shot there on Reiner House.
Both of the goalkeepers in this series were primarily the number 2 guys on their respective teams. Cedar Rapids had Brett Petracek for the first half of the season. And then after a dispute with management, he was jettisoned, and House, who had been their number 2 guy since the team was formed 3 years ago, was promoted. And Reiner has played okay. 6-6 with a 5.72 goals against average during the regular season. Meanwhile, Rafa Diaz, of course, was the number 2 guy, primarily this year as he was last year when that was his first season with the Wave. But then when Josh Lemos went out with the shoulder injury in the second last regular season game, Rafa's had to start the succeeding 3 games for Milwaukee as Ian Bennett is dumped. And Rafa, as we've talked about, has played tremendously during the regular season, just 1 start. And he finished up overall at 1-0 with a 4.97 goals against average. Yesterday, getting the start, registering 14 saves, many of them of the sensational variety, not to mention stopping Kid Dynamite on the penalty kick in the 3rd quarter.
Rafa 2 for 2 this year on penalty kicks saved. He stopped, was it Kennardo Forbes from Syracuse?
Yep. He's the best PK stopper for the Wave since Troy Dosowski stopped a couple back during the 03-04 season.
Well, what are the 2 similarities, you would say, Tom, between Troy Dosowski and Rafa Diaz?
Well, they're both bulky guys.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They're both big bodies. And with a smaller goal, as opposed to outdoor, that big body comes in handy on a penalty kick.
Saw Rafa there on our Wisconsin Vision instant replay. Rafa already coming up with a State Farm Insurance save of the game right off the bat. And we'll see if he can keep it going. And I thought you made a good point in the pregame, Art, as we'll pick it up here just a minute as the bouncing shot in by Grable was fielded by Haas. But this is the first time Rafa's had to play this many minutes in short order, and our Rampage is on the board, and it looks like the golden man, Sam Guernsey, converts off the feed. And indeed it was Guernsey, and Cedar Rapids grabs a lead, 1-0.
Guernsey on the far side just outruns Chino to the back post. And it was Gerson who played the initial ball in, well angled off the boards, and there you see the tail end of Guernsey's run, who out-sprinted Chino off the ball.
So a big first goal for the Rampage, courtesy of Sam Golden Guernsey. Guernsey during the regular season, 7 goals, 3 assists for 10 points. Did not get on the scoreboard yesterday, although played a very solid game defensively for the Rampage. Gerson with the assist, and Kid Dynamite now with 4 assists to go along with a goal in this series. He is tied with San Diego's Craig Childs for the top postseason scorer in the MASL, 5 points each. So the Wave will have to play from behind today as they did yesterday. Yesterday they fell behind 3-0 before rallying back. Actually went on a 5-goal run at that stage to take a 5-3 lead and eventually won it 9-8 in overtime. Wave, by the way, is now 4-0 in overtime games this season, including yesterday's contest. Ian Bennett at midfield, trying to get away from Fibo Arriaga. Drops it back. Daniel Chamali. Wave in the St. Patrick's Day green uniforms today. Of course, St. Patty's Day not coming up till next Saturday, but this could be Milwaukee's last home game, so they're bringing them out. Nice day for the parade yesterday in Milwaukee. Ian Bennett tracks it down, lays it back out. Shot in by Vandagriff, deflected away. Chad had a big goal yesterday for Milwaukee. And eventually a foul going to be called. Daniel Chamali going to get called for the foul as he was stacked up down along the boards.
You mentioned Vandagriff's goal yesterday, and he had several other opportunities in that game going forward, and really with his physicality, the ability to attack out of the back is something that he needs to look to do a little bit more.
Well, one of the things we talked about before this series was that, you know, with the number of injuries the Wave has had, a redirection, Gerson just wide. Oh, that would have been a sensational conversion. Wave still trying to clear it. Now they finally do. Here it comes. Ian Bennett with Vandagriff to his left. Ian fires a shot and a goal! Nobody does it better from the right wing at full speed than Ian Bennett, and the Wave has tied it at 1 apiece.
Just a clinical finish by that man right there, Ian Bennett, as he dances a little Irish jig there. He had two options. He had Vandagriff off the ball on his left, but chose to fire to the far post, and that ball caught the inside of the far post, and Reiner House had no chance on that perfectly placed shot by number 26, Ian Bennett, to tie the score at 1.
I want to say it was Marcio who fed it up to him to get the assist, and Marcio again off to a great start in the postseason. Could have easily been the two-way man of the match yesterday with a goal and 3 assists, and I believe he got the helper there as well.
I believe that was Rojas that was chasing Bennett, and he had absolutely no chance in that foot race.
A Rojas without the ball, either one is not going to catch Ian Bennett with the ball. You can take your choice of Rojas is there. However, they are both very skilled players, and they have been key players for Cedar Rapids this year in their rise to playoff position. Amazingly enough, Rampage actually finished a game less record-wise this year than they were last year. Last year they were 12-8, but they finished in 3rd place in the division, did not qualify for the playoffs. This year 11-11, but that was good enough to get the 2nd spot and play Milwaukee in the postseason. This will be the first time in 7 consecutive postseasons, Art, first time in 8 after 7 straight where the Wave will not play Kansas City, which seems a bit weird, I guess, if you're a Wave fan. Gerson with tenacity to come up with that one and launch a shot from midfield that is fairly close to target. Media timeouts. And we are off and running here today at Panther Arena. Midway through the first period. It is Milwaukee 1, Cedar Rapids 1. And while we have a chance, this will give us an opportunity to tell you that the Wave would like to thank Miter USA for providing today's match balls. Miter, founded in Huddersfield, England, is among the world's oldest sporting good brands, starting production in 1817. Miter is a proud partner of the Major Arena Soccer League, providing arena-specific match balls to both the MASL and M2. The MASL and Miter share a long-term vision to see arena soccer growth in North America. Miter's Astro Division balls, the official game ball for MASL League play. Miter's Astro Division is designed specifically for play on artificial surfaces. It features a much more accurate flight than the average ball and has a 30% reduced bounce to make it play more efficiently in arena soccer. Also, you're watching the Wave and the Rampage on MASL TV. Catch every game each week on the league's official streaming home, MASL.tv. And get the latest news on the MASL and your favorite teams. Make sure you're following MASL Soccer on Facebook and Instagram, and MASL Arena on Twitter. Speaking of the MASL, the commissioner is in the house today, Joshua Schwab. And we're going to talk with the commissioner for a bit during the 3rd period of today's game. So stay tuned for that one, fans. He'll have some good info for us about the state of the MASL and what's coming up in the future. Well, Art, pretty good pace to start this one today, and the teams were playing at a high tempo yesterday down at the Odeum in Villa Park, Illinois. So I guess we're going to see who's better conditioned and who can last if it keeps up at this stage.
There's been a number of fans on social media that thought Cedar Rapids was just going to come in and be easy pickings for the Wave, and I was a little surprised at that, because if you saw Cedar Rapids play late in the season after Ante took over as coach, this team is extremely, they work, man, they work, and they're a tough out. And so no surprise that they pushed the Wave to overtime yesterday, and no surprise that they've come out here today and started fast. And really, they're led by number 3, Gordy Gerson. And like him or hate him, and a lot of fans don't like the diving, because he does, no question about it, but that kid works, man. He works and works, and as he goes, Cedar Rapids goes.
Ian Bennett with another shot from the near wing, and House had to make a pretty good diving save there. And now Hans Dennison going to get called for the foul. Hans, number 7 for the Wave. You get a look at him there. Just celebrated his 34th birthday a couple of days ago, so happy birthday to Hans. Oh, to be 34 again, huh?
To be 44 again. Take that.
I was going to say even 54 again. I might take that too. Rampage moving it right to left. And again, Cedar Rapids needs to win this one to force a deciding Game 3 minigame, which would take place right here 15 minutes after the conclusion of Game 2. Milwaukee, of course, can wrap up the series with a win here. Wave has advanced past its first series in each of the last 3 years here in the MASL, beating Kansas City last year and then the Chicago Mustangs, who are now in M2 the previous 2 years. And it took minigames in all 3 of those series for Milwaukee to do it. So Wave, no stranger to the minigame if it gets to that. Chamali to the near side, the Toronto, Ontario native, able to play it back out for Chad Vandagriff. Chad in his 5th season, 2nd with the Wave. Originally began his collegiate career at SMU before finishing up at St. Louis University to Chad Vandagriff. Here's Rafa Diaz, 35-year-old native of Brazil, plays it up. Max Ferdinand trying to get to the corner. Reiner Haas, another Brazilian, tries to clear it out. Ball loose, kept alive. Max with a little chip. I think he might have been trying to go back to Chamali there, but Haas was there to gather it in.
I think that was a mistouch by Max that time as he had Chamali open in the middle of the box.
Haas with a chip to midfield, gathered in by Chamali. Chamali is chopped down by Gerson. The foul is called, and Gordy better be careful as Ryan Sigic is going to give him a delay game warning as he tapped the ball away after the foul was called. Ryan Sigic, Shane Butler, the officials as assigned by the Major Arena Soccer League working today's game. To the best in the league. Here's Max Ferdinand trying to get to the line. Max still going. He'll roll one in. This hit it. And Haas is able to cover up.
2 good moves that time by Max, and then he lost his footing there before taking the shot.
Gerson turns, pass is deflected. Guernsey gets it back. Guernsey with the goal for Cedar Rapids at 5:03. Ian Bennett answered for Milwaukee at 6:45. The other 2 series will resume tonight in Baltimore and Monterey. Foul is called. Both home teams can wrap it up with victories in regulation. But it won't be easy in either case. Baltimore's got to deal with Syracuse, and Monterey has got to deal with Solis de Sonora. Remember, Solis has been the 2-time Western Conference finalists coming into this season. And I'm sure the big cat, Frank Teo, and the rest of the crew there is going to have a little something to say about how the rest of that series turns out.
Anytime you got the league's leading scorer, you always have a chance. But for Syracuse, I tell you, Tom, it just seems like they got a psychological block that's keeping them from getting past Baltimore. You can only play them so close for so many years.
Marcio plays it off the end board. Huffman able to clear for Rapids. Nice little back heel up ahead on the far side by Victor France, and now they'll play it back for Huffman. Yeah, of the 5 games they played this year, Baltimore's won 4, and every one of their victories has been a 1-goal conquest. France trying to dance around Marcio. Marcio stays with him. And eventually, they're going to get Daniel Matos for the foul. There's Daniel. Had a big goal yesterday. Almost had a game winner at the end of regulation on a volley off a corner kick. Marcio set him up, and Daniel hit it right on, but just a bit high. That would have been a sensational conversion to end the game. As it turned out, the Wave had another sensational conversion from Ian Bennett to win the game. Whoa, blast up in the stands. Hopefully somebody's okay there.
No, that caught a little kid flush right in between his parents.
We could hear the thwack up here. And again, hopefully he's going to be okay. We've talked about it before. If you come to the game here and you're sitting end zone.
Yeah, I'd like to see netting, at least in this venue, behind the goals. In fact, that back row, Tom, where there's concrete, that's really a dangerous spot. But yeah, let's hope that young kid is okay.
Santos to the corner, trying to play it out. Looks like he's okay, so that's good news. Foul was called against Cedar Rapids. Wave with the restart. Cedar Rapids did a good job of preventing Milwaukee from too many attacking zone restarts yesterday. Rapids definitely had the advantage in that category. And so again, you got to credit them defensively for avoiding fouls in the defensive end. Marcio trying to get around his defender, could not do it. This is Drew Russell coming away with it. Russell's slotting the pass ahead, but Rafa was able to read that one and clear away. Russell, a native of Mount Vernon, Iowa, who played 1 year of JUCO ball at Yavapai Community College in Arizona. You see Gordy Gerson taking the foul there. That's at least 2 on Gerson in this half. Take a look one more time, the Wisconsin Vision instant replay. That's not a good foul to be whacking Isaac Pereira out there. And again, he's got to be careful. If you get 3 personals in a half, then on your 4th, your team gives up a 2-minute power play. Bennett, he'll crank one up a bit high. Rebound follow, doubleheader, rebound again in the middle, shot! What a save by Haas! And finish off by Chino! That was a sequence there. Drew Ruggles, the goal scorer there. Again, I was confused by the lack of ponytail on Chino. Look at this sequence here.
2 great saves by House. Watch him stop Ricardinho not once, but twice. But then there's Drew Ruggles on his off foot. He's a natural lefty, but hits a volley with the right foot to give the Wave the first quarter lead.
Boy, I'll tell you, one of the best offensive sequences you're going to see, and one of the best epic goalkeeping displays in short term. Haas, just amazing the first couple of saves, but then Ruggles finishes it off, the 3rd-year man from Georgia Southern, at 13:04, and Milwaukee grabs its first lead of the day at 2-1.
No question, 2 good saves by House, but if you're Ricardinho, you got the goalie down and out, you chose to go low. I mean, just put it up over the top of him. He's laying on the ground, but 2 good saves by House.
That second one on Ricardinho could have been a save for the ages. Well, I guess it was, except then Ruggles followed up with the shot and the goal.
Good to see the Wave defenders pushing up in the attack. That time Ruggles scoring on the rebound.
Yeah, and good to see that Chino's got his hair back in a ponytail. I can more readily identify him now. But certainly Drew Ruggles, who has been out with that left knee injury, great to get him back in the lineup. And really, Art, as it turned out, almost had to have him back in the lineup with the lack of manpower the Wave has had. Both he and Guilherme Vega, both limping around yesterday, especially Vega, who just had to gut it out to the end of the game. Now, Guilherme could not go today. Jonathan Santos back in, but Jonathan, of course, is still not 100%. Coming down to the final half minute of the first period. Huffman lays it back. Good play from behind. Hans Dennison to come up and knock it away from Osvaldo Rojas. And not a foul there by Mario Alvarez. There you got to look at Mario. He had the hat trick yesterday for Cedar Rapids. One more time is Isaac Pereira taken down there. Isaac, the 21-year-old Mexican native, getting his first really significant playing time with the Wave. Has been working out with them for the last several years as Rafa's pass goes into the stands. But no, Isaac has stepped up and given the Wave some key minutes, no question about it.
For the most part, the Wave has beaten the Rampage down the field in transition. Other than that early goal by Guernsey, the Wave has dominated the transitional battle here in the first quarter.
Dumped in, and that will do it for the first period. So the Wave bounces back after giving up the first goal to come back and take the lead. And at the end of one, it is Milwaukee 2, Cedar Rapids 1. We'll take a break, come back with the second period. This is Wave Soccer on Spectrum Sports.
Arena has experience in some of the biggest events in the country, and we're able to bring that same expertise to local events. We do a lot of corporate anniversaries, company parties. Most of them never plan events like this, so they're looking for our experience to plan these events with them.
Well, every August, we have our customer appreciation party where we close down the restaurant. Customers are able to sample beer, wine, enjoy live music, desserts, the whole 9 yards.
Arena can provide a turnkey service from tents, tables and chairs, linens.
Everybody has a wonderful time, and it's something different out of the ordinary that we're able to do for our customers and for our vendors. They're able to just sit back and relax.
People want more than just a cover for weather. They were able to transform parking lots into amazing event venues.
Arena Rental is very easy to work with. I would recommend them to anybody.
Go where the pros go for chiropractic care, massage therapy, and exercise rehabilitation. Goodyear Chiropractic Health Center, the official chiropractor and massage therapist for the Milwaukee Wave.
Experience Wisco Hotels, a broad selection of quality hotels throughout the state of Wisconsin for the value-minded traveler. Whether you're looking for a hotel in Milwaukee, Madison, Fond du Lac, Appleton, or Oshkosh, Wisco Hotels has you covered with great service, comfort, convenience, outstanding hotel rates, special hotel promotions, and so much more. To book your room or to get more information, visit wiscohotels.com. Wisco Hotel Group, proud partners of your Milwaukee Wave.
For all your construction needs.
Ready for the start of period number 2 in game 2 of this Ron Newman Playoff Cup Series, the quarterfinals, Central Division Championship between the Milwaukee Wave and the Cedar Rapids Rampage. Wave kicks off, they go right to left. Tom went along with the Wave Hall of Famer Art Kramer, coming to you from UW Milwaukee Panther Arena here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Ball picked off top of the area. A shot by Ricardinho, kicked away by Reiner Haas, who continues to make great saves for Cedar Rapids.
Bad giveaway that time by Cedar Rapids in their own zone.
Ricardinho couldn't gather that one in as Milwaukee keeps the pressure on, holding the zone. Max will play it out. Ricardinho works it back to midfield. And the Wave will recycle. Up ahead, here's Max, trying to make a move, holding out. Max, what a move! Max trying to chip, and another save by Haas. Oh, Max Ferdinand with the magic on display, did it all except he was robbed by Reiner Haas.
Great penetrating pass by Leite to free Max up there off the ball.
By the way, looks like we had our first appearance. Jonathan Santos had a shift there for Milwaukee, number 75. Take away, Bennett! He takes it away from Reiner Haas, who takes the card. This should be a shootout on the holding penalty to Reiner Haas.
Well, if there was ever a good penalty, it was that one by Reiner Haas, because Bennett's going to walk that in to an empty net. If that's outdoor soccer, Tom, as we see the replay, that's a straight red card. You tackle a guy from behind that's going in on an empty net.
Absolutely. So we'll see if Milwaukee can capitalize. Marcio will take the shootout attempt. He'll start in from the attacking line. Everybody else will come in on the whistle from midfield.
You know, that's one that probably has to be talked about during the offseason, because a shootout for a last man on the goalkeeper is one thing, but how about the goalkeeper who's the last man that tackles a guy from behind? I'm not so sure this is a fair result for the Wave.
Well, I guess that Marcio scored, it is, but no, I agree with you, Art. There should be something a little more punitive than what it is, but Marcio comes through, and Milwaukee leads it 3-1. Take a look one more time, the Wisconsin Vision instant replay.
The Wave's got so many great options on the shootout, Tom. We've seen Max Ferdinand take a couple. We see Ian Bennett sometimes run off the ball in support of it and score goals on this. Marcio Leite, if you're Giuliano Oliviero on the Wave bench, take your pick. And that doesn't include Ricardinho or Chino, some of these other skilled players. That could be very, very effective on the shootout. Milwaukee's not a team you want to get into a shootout situation against, that's for sure.
So the Wave has come back with 3 straights after Cedar Rapids had taken the initial lead. That goal is not going to count as it came after the whistle.
Cedar Rapids not happy, but that was an obvious push that time.
And so the Wave will start it going right to left in the green uniforms. Again, wearing the St. Patrick's green uniforms today, because this may be the Wave's last home game. If Syracuse would come back to beat Baltimore in that series, the Wave would host the Eastern Conference Championship. But that's if this result holds for Milwaukee here. But there has been no specific date that's come up as of yet. So we'll just worry about first things first before that possibility occurs. But if Baltimore wins, they would host the Eastern Conference Championship at their home field, the miniature pitch of the Sekou Arena in Towson, Maryland, probably sometime next weekend. Foul called there on Edwin Rojas. Oh, ball driven in, and don't know if that was off the post. House got a piece of that, but
House made the save on Isaac Pereira right in front. Pereira redirected that shot. I don't think House saw it, but he was in the right place at the right time to make the save.
Well, that's part of being a good goalie, right? Certainly a lot of goalkeepers in professional hockey would be testament to that.
House kicked out the pad that time, Tom.
And he has really been impressive stopping shots so far today. Here's a giveaway here. Gerson comes in. Gerson makes a move. Gerson scores.
Bad giveaway that time by goalkeeper Rafa Diaz. He played the ball too far in front of his support defender, which enabled Cedar Rapids to turn him over. And then Kid Dynamite right there walks right around Rafa Diaz, and the easy finish with the left foot.
Gerson with his second goal of the series. He also had an assist earlier today, so he's got 6 points in the series, 2 goals, 4 assists. That one will be unassisted. Well, Rafa hasn't made too many mistakes in this series, but that was probably one right there that set up Gerson for the unassisted goal.
Rafa's been very steady with his distribution here since he's taken over for Josh Lemos. Once again, Tom, back-to-back games here for Rafa Diaz. And the questions out there is, How is he going to be able to hold up physically? And that's how it goes. You lose it physically, you lose it mentally right behind it.
Marcio almost able to blow by on the 1-2 past the defender, Alex Bradley. Boy, Bradley made a nice play there. Otherwise, Marcio was blown right past him. Another poor touch by Rafa, but the Wave is able to avoid disaster. Now Chamale coming forward.
If I'm the Wave, I'm limiting the times I go to Rafa right now when we're in possession.
Santos with a shot that's blocked. Matos trying to follow. Cedar Rapids clears, but Max Ferdinand there at midfield for Milwaukee.
If there's one area that Cedar Rapids needs to focus on in the offseason is their commitment to defend. I think they had 144 goals for this year, 142 against.
Yeah, 146 to 144. They're, other than Tacoma, they were the straight-up definition of 500 team. Tacoma was even up in the goals for and against with their 11-11 record at 134-134. Sandoval with a pass up ahead to Gerson, knocked back for House. Reiner again not afraid to handle the ball forward. Pass is blocked away. Vandagriff trying to get it, but a good run back by Arriaga to get the possession back for Cedar Rapids. And Derek Huffman, well, they play on. Looked like he took a shot there from Chino, but they did not call a foul. Game is physical. Boy, we saw that yesterday in the more condensed space of the Odeum. There's a look at Chino, looking much better with his ponytail back on. At least in my professional opinion.
I'll leave that one to you, Tom.
Gerson shot, just missing, and scrambling for the rebound, Diaz. Gerson following up, but the Wave able to clear. Here comes Chino. Ponytail flowing in the back. Comes in with a shot, just missing. Oh, great effort there by Curiel, but just a bit wide.
Not sure if House got his right fingertips of that shot by Chino.
Boy, if he did, that was just enough to steer it wide. Yeah, a little more room for these guys to operate here today at Panther Arena compared to the Odeum, but boy, I'll tell you, there's still not enough space out there for the intensity. Marcio trying to push it up along the board. Gerson breaks it up now. Drew Russell at midfield. Russell coming to the Rampage for his first indoor season after a couple of years spent with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds of the United Soccer League. Blast up in the stands. They're going to say the shot was deflected by the Wave. It'll be a corner kick coming for the Wave. But, yeah, Russell got some size and definitely has to be contended with when he's out there.
See if the Wave could tighten up their corner kick defense here and force Gerson to play the ball outside of the defensive box.
Sends it through, and it's blocked away.
I saw Gordy try to force one through that box again. That's his tendency.
Turning shot by Victor France, and a great save there by Rafa Diaz. Huffman puts down Max with impunity.
Never understood that, Tom. The guy hammers the guy in the back and then has got his hands up like, what are you calling? I mean, come on, man.
Well, I think he was still mad from he took a crack from Chino that was not called a foul, so that was in retaliation for that, so to speak. And unfortunately, Max Ferdinand was the victim in that case. Ball sent back in. Wave trying to get control, and they do.
Veteran referees Ryan Sigich and Shane Butler working tonight's game.
Santos' pass was picked off at midfield. Jonathan able to get it back in the corner then and head it to Rafa. Rafa throwing downfield. Rafa a bit unconventional with his throwing, I noticed.
Well, not the guy head that you want to throw to there. Stuart Grable with 12 stitches in that forehead. Yeah, and he went up and headed the ball right there. I'm sure that against doctor's orders.
Stewart had the same number of stitches to match the number on his back yesterday. First period down at the Odeum as foul going to be called there. That's Mario Alvarez, and that's at least his second in this period.
Okay, you come in, you shove the guy in the back. Every foul is, what did I do?
These guys are amazing. Talking about the players and their reactions. And I think Ryan Sigich is down there telling Mario Alvarez that he's probably had about enough of him and his teammates and their histrionics after the foul called.
It's been a problem in the NBA as well, Tom, where the players complaining after every call in the league has been talking about it and how they can get their officials working a little bit better with the players. Not sure that'll ever happen.
No, I was going to say, is there anything that can resolve drama in the NBA? Oh, good tackle there to take it away, and shot save made by House. Pace continues pretty frenetically here in second period. Chino got tied up and he got called for the foul there as he was rocking and socking down there with Joshio Sandoval.
Pirante Chope on the Cedar Rapids bench. You got to feel pretty good about where this game is at right now. Only down one here in the second.
Yeah, I would agree, although, again, Reiner House has definitely kept them within striking distance. They got to hope that he can maintain the hot hand if the Wave keeps getting some of the chances that they do. Reiner did not have a particularly great game stopping shots for most of yesterday's game. He did make some saves, but he has definitely been much more formidable today.
Sure, there's some folks out there saying, come on, Kramer, they got to win this game. They're down 3-2. How could that be a good position? But considering yesterday's psychological blow that they suffered at home, just to be able to stay in this game early is a big key for Cedar Rapids.
That was Ian Bennett at the tail end of that one after Ricardinho had tried a couple of times to get one past Haas. Takeaway here by Bradley. Marcio with a sliding tackle, but he got a little bit too much.
And there's Marcio saying what happened.
Rampage coming back with it. And good step up there. Here comes Drew Ruggles. Drew to Max on the right wing with Gerson chasing. Wade still has 4-3 if somehow Max can extricate himself from the corner. And the foul going to be called on Ferdinand. There you get a look at the MASL's leading playmaker during the regular season. And like a true superstar, he did come up big yesterday for Milwaukee. Ball served up into the stands. Unforced error there by the Rampage. And after our media timeout, it will be top of the arc restart for Milwaukee.
A timely media timeout that allows the Wave to set up a top of the arc restart play here.
Boy, even Brad Beach has got the St. Patrick's jersey working today. You see him up there in the stands. You know, interesting last night, Art, talking about that Tacoma-San Diego game. Sockers jump out. They've got the 5-1 lead. Tacoma scores a goal just before half to make it 5-2. They come out and score again in the third period. It's 5-3. Then at the end of the third period, with 0.7 of a second left, the ball goes out of bounds near midfield, just slightly on the Tacoma offensive side of midfield. And Darren Sawatsky elects to call a timeout. Now, I thought perhaps he thought they could get more time put on the clock. It didn't. And then Corey Keats steps up and hits a shot that scored, well, but it wasn't enough time. It was ruled no goal because, just the laws of physics, defies the laws of physics. Anybody could knock a ball from 98 feet into the net in 7/10 of a second. Not unless you can shoot at 200 miles an hour.
No, the hardest shots that I've seen registered has been right around 80, 81 miles an hour. And so, yeah, I'm not I don't know the law of physics and whether a ball could travel from that distance in 0.7, but at the time I thought this is just a waste of a timeout. But the next question you got to ask is, why did San Diego only have one in the wall? I mean, it's got to be a direct shot. There should have been 5 San Diego players forming a wall.
Yeah, they probably didn't play that one, the guys. And then they almost made it a 5-4 game a bit later, but Robert Palmer missing a golden chance there. In it comes Ian Bennett, shot a goal! Lick the postage stamp as he put it right there off the free kick distribution from Max Ferdinand. Plush is on the board again with his second of the game, and Milwaukee leads it 4-2.
After Rafa Diaz gifted Cedar Rapids a goal, this time Reiner House gifts Milwaukee a goal with a poor clearance out of bounds, and the Wave makes him pay on the restart. Leite to Bennett, and House had no chance on the restart.
10:02, the time of the goal. Bennett with his second of the day, 4th of the series. Marcio Leite with the assist. Marcio picking up another helper after he had 3 yesterday to go with a goal. He's got a goal and an assist today. Huge restart goal for Milwaukee. Again, Cedar Rapids, one of the things they have done well in this series is avoid giving Milwaukee a lot of restarts in the attacking zone. So, save Rafa to stop Gordy Gerson right there.
Great look on that last Wave goal from behind the goal by our production crew. And you saw House's hands were up at the start of the restart. And once the ball was played, he dropped him down and allowed Bennett to beat him up high.
Victor France with a drive off the frame. Rebound on the near wing, Sandoval gets it. France with another shot up in the stands. Boy, that was some good pressure there by Cedar Rapids. Both goalkeepers have been forced to stand on their head here in the first half. We've only got 6 goals, and I would say, Art, without some sterling effort on either side by Rafa Diaz and Reiner House, could easily have 3, 4, 5 more goals combined in this contest. Defenses are both yielding chances, and I gotta believe part of it is because of the fatigue from yesterday. And some people might say, well, why isn't the offense fatigued? Well, it's amazing how on offense you don't feel as fatigued as you do on defense.
That's true. As a former forward, I could tell I had a lot more energy to go forward than I did to defend.
That's right. Now Hans Dennison at midfield, looking for Max, who takes a bump there, trying to work his way around the aggressive defense of Sam Guernsey out there. Marcio will go to the corner, fire a shot, save made by House. Gerson with it, he'll launch downfield. You know, we noticed that Bobby Hurwitz has not, if he's been out there today, Art, it was very briefly, I gotta believe that he's ailing a bit from yesterday's game. The synergism between him and Gerson really elevates both games. So that's a key loss for Cedar Rapids if he's out of the lineup. Ian in the corner. And getting undressed down there by Sandoval, the foul called, and now Ian having a little discussion with Sandoval. Shane Butler's got to step in between.
How's your Spanish there, Ian? Not a good foul that time by Sandoval. He's got Bennett with his back to the goal, wraps his arm around Bennett. He's not going anywhere. Just force him back. Now you've allowed the Wave another opportunity on a deep restart.
Yeah, a bit of frustration there on both sides, Sandoval and Bennett. And a good restart chance coming up for Milwaukee. So, again, we won't know, Art, if potentially we'll have another broadcast or not. We've got to wait to see if the Wave wins here and then see if what the outcome of the Baltimore-Syracuse series. If Baltimore wins, Eastern Conference Championship would take place in Baltimore, either against Milwaukee or Cedar Rapids. If Syracuse wins, then if Milwaukee wins, Syracuse would come here. If Cedar Rapids wins and Syracuse wins, Syracuse would be hosting.
So I got a list of things you don't do as I've been watching these first round playoffs. And speaking of Baltimore, if you're going to play against the Baltimore Blast in their building, don't allow them to set up with 5 behind the ball. If you got a pacier team than Baltimore, beat them down the floor and try to win a shootout, a 13-10, a 15-11 game. Trying to win an 8-6 or a 6-4 game in Baltimore against the Blast, your percentages of doing that are very, very small. So absolutely don't allow them to get behind the ball in transition.
And I think another point relative to the first round of the playoffs, if you have Frank Teo on your team and he scores the goal that gets you within 1 with 1:18 left to go in the contest, do not take him out of the lineup on the kickoff. All right, here we go as Matos fires it in on the restart. It's blocked out. Ruggles trying to cut it off at midfield, and it bounced into the Cedar Rapids bench, although Drew took a shot from Osvaldo Rojas, I think it was. Good hustle back by Max to poke it away from Guernsey, but Cedar Rapids able to reload.
And you're right, Tom, for the fans around the league that watched that Solis Monterey game, inexplicably, Frank Teu, the league's leading scorer, with 1:18 left after scoring a goal to go down 1, he's off the field for the next 35 seconds.
Well, we were talking about, Frank, as per when he scores, he likes to go in the back of the net and grab the ball and take it out to midfield. And I was saying, once he got it to midfield, he should have just waved off anybody else who was coming out for him. Here's a fade ahead. Ruggles trying to go 2-1 with Bennett on his left. Drew lays it off, and a great sliding play. Oh, a rebound follow by Bennett up in the stands.
Was that Alex Bradley on the recovery run for Cedar Rapids? Good sliding block on that pass from Ruggles to Bennett.
Reiner Haas, say, bit shaken up, check it off one more time. I think it was Guernsey who actually got back there. And you see Haas got a piece of that on the follow-up by Bennett.
You're right, Sam Guernsey with a great recovery run.
Good. That was actually off the face, I believe, of Reiner Haas. And looking at this guy, maybe it's just me, Art, but he's got a little bit of resemblance of that one actor. Dieter, trying to think of what his name is from the Drew Carey show. Just a little bit. Maybe it's just me. He could. he and Topstar producers say he looks like Ben Stiller.
You guys watch more TV than I do.
I'm not sure I'm seeing that, but anyway.
But yeah, getting back to the around the league, Tom. Do not allow Baltimore to set up. Do not take Frank Teu off the field with a minute to go in the game. And absolutely do not dye your hair blonde in the first round of the playoff series as a team.
Talking about the Syracuse Silver Knights. Yeah, I'm not sure that look was doing it for Bo Jelovic and company there. Il Paisano, Joey Tavernisi didn't go for it, but well, the rest of those guys did, and didn't work for them. But we'll see if they can bounce back against Baltimore despite that. In it comes. Max will move it across far side. And the shots just off the mark by Ricardinho, didn't miss by much. On the far board, Max looked like he got held up. He did. They were going to let the possession play on, let the advantage play on. There's Mohamed Kanawi, the rookie out of UMass Boston. Kanawi, if he played it all yesterday, I sure didn't notice it, but he's been a regular defender for the Rapids this year. Shown some pretty good stuff for a rookie. Scored a couple of goals against the Wave this year. In fact, he scored 3 goals against Milwaukee during the regular season series, which the Wave won 3-1. Milwaukee beating Cedar Rapids 11-7, 11-7, 11-5, and then Rapids coming up with a 5-3 win in the last one. As you saw, Sandoval got called for the foul. That is his third. So he's got to be careful not to commit another before the end of this half.
And right away, Sandoval goes to the bench for a change. As Coach Ante Chope pulling him off, not risking Sandoval picking up his fourth. And Cedar Rapids just racking up the fouls here in the first half.
There's Oswaldo Rojas. Yeah, they sure are. That's his third on Oswaldo Rojas, so he's got to avoid it. Getting that fourth. And it comes on the restart. Ricardinho got a piece of it, but the Rampage able to clear.
Surprised the Wave didn't try to isolate Rojas that time off the dribble from that restart.
Huffman clears it upfield as, I think it was, is that Isaac Pereira who went down on a hard tackle by Huffman.
If there's similarities as Ricardinho behind the play hobbling off here, Tom.
Ricardinho, that was, yeah. Yeah, I thought it might have been Pereira. That was Ricardinho. And again, Milwaukee already kind of thinned the way it is in the injury situation. Certainly can't afford to have too many other guys go down. Rojas mid-side. Yeah, and he gets hammered down. And no foul called. No penalty, I should say. And I'll tell you what, the Rojas brothers have been jacking guys around all throughout this series. I think Chino getting a little fed up, although you've got to be careful. You don't want to get a blue card. Timeout, Cedar Rapids. So Ante Chope now will take advantage of the situation to plot a play. Ante, by the way, done an outstanding job with this Cedar Rapids team this year. A lot of uncertainty swirling about the team. Will they be back in Cedar Rapids next year? What their future might be, but Ante has done a great job to gather the troops together and keep them focused on this season.
Remember what Ante told us yesterday before the game as we met briefly with him outside his locker room. He said, you know, I came here halfway through the season, and how much am I going to teach these guys about playing the indoor game as I'm just arriving halfway through the season? He goes, but the one thing I can do is to go out there and get them to play with heart, and I'll just leave it at that, right? Go out there and play with a lot of heart, which he's been able to do. Ante, a Croatian native, a very passionate and fiery guy, and that has really translated to the way Cedar Rapids has played. And Tom, here we are 20 seconds before the end of the half. Cedar Rapids with a free kick down in the corner. Remember yesterday, it was a late foul in the first half on Drew Ruggles with 5 seconds to go, and Cedar Rapids was able to pull one back in that one, and virtually the same situation here in game number 2.
Yeah, that was a significant momentum regaining goal for Cedar Rapids, and so there's no doubt Giuliano Oliviero telling his Wave team, look, fellas, we've got to be able to stop this. Do not want to be in the same situation yesterday where they've got the momentum going into halftime. Gerson and France, and it'll be Gerson to approach the ball against a two-man wall. Kid, dynamite, shot, and a goal. And that was return address on that one. Rafa with a great effort, but that ball, a laser to the top left corner. Check that one. Oh, maybe a little deflection.
I think it was off of Rafa's hands. I was looking to see if it deflected off Marcio, but it looked like it directly off of Rafa's hands. And deja vu all over again from yesterday. Virtually the same scenario. And if you're the Wave, you got to know that Gordy Gerson on the ball in the corner is going to go directly into the box with either a shot or a pass. I've seen him during the last half of the season, and I don't remember one time Gerson playing the ball back. It's going into the box or direct virtually every time.
So a big goal for Gerson, his second of the game, third of the series.
You see right there, Sandoval with 3 fouls. The Wave had an opportunity to take him on and elected to pass away.
Marcio shot and turned away. Max will reload as the clock ticks down, and that will do it. 30 minutes in the book here for the first half.
Hanging around. Cedar Rapids is hanging around.
It is 4-3 Milwaukee. And stick around, fans. I think we've got plenty of more fireworks coming up here in the second half of this one. Meanwhile, we will stand by as Van McNeil will talk with Wave coach Giuliano Oliviero down on the field. And we'll get some of coach's perspectives on the first half. Let's send it down to Van right now.
Coach's corner. Head coach Giuliano Oliviero, 4-3 here. What are we thinking here this first half?
Yeah, I thought we played really well. It doesn't feel like a 4-3 game, but again, it's the playoffs. Anything can happen. Giving up a goal in the last 20 seconds, not what we wanted to do, but overall, we played well, and it's just about our execution in the attacking third.
What's the story on Ricky? We saw him hobbling off the field. Just a stinger there? Or something a little more?
We're not sure yet. He's not sure, so we're not sure. So
okay, and then keeping that energy level up for another half hour of soccer. What are you going to tell the guys?
Hey, it's the playoffs, so the energy's going to be there. So we got 30 minutes. We want to play well on both sides of the ball and continue on in the playoffs.
And the importance of the fans getting it loud in here.
Keep it going, fans. You guys are awesome.
Head coach Giuliano Oliviero, our Midwest Orthopedic Specialty Hospital Coach's Corner. Doreen.
Experience Wisco Hotels, a broad selection of quality hotels throughout the state of Wisconsin for the value-minded traveler. Whether you're looking for a hotel in Milwaukee, Madison, Fond du Lac, Appleton, or Oshkosh, Wisco Hotels has you covered with great service, comfort, convenience, outstanding hotel rates, special hotel promotions, and so much more. To book your room or to get more information, visit WiscoHotels.com. Wisco Hotel Group, proud partners of your Milwaukee Wave.
The Milwaukee Wave presents the State Farm Save of the Game. In the Wave's home opener against Cedar Rapids, goalkeeper Josh Lemos showed no signs of a sophomore slump as he came up big time after Rampage goalie Brett Petrusek came out of the box and attacked to no avail. Lemos had a save percentage of .462 on the night, along with 13 shots against and 7 goals against, and of course he's pumped up. The State Farm Save of the Game, brought to you by State Farm, here to help life go right. In New Berlin, contact Matt Teresi at 262-427-2227.
You could be my love, even if the sky is falling down. I know that we'll be safe and sound.
So many Americans struggle with finances. Starting today, State Farm is here to help, giving us all the chance to simply sit down and learn. Visit letstarttoday.com or talk to an agent.
We're safe and sound.
Go where the pros go for chiropractic care, massage therapy, and exercise rehabilitation. Goodyear Chiropractic Health Center, the official chiropractor and massage therapist for the Milwaukee Wave.
Rafa clears it off the line. Oh! Rafa clears it off the line.
Attacker, so put myself in the right spot, and I've been working on saving balls off the line, so it paid off.
Oh, there he goes. The ice.
for all your construction needs.
Arena has experience in some of the biggest events in the country, and we're able to bring that same expertise to local events. We do a lot of corporate anniversaries, company parties. Most of them never plan events like this, so they're looking for our experience to plan these events with them.
Well, every August, we have our customer appreciation party where we close down the restaurant. Customers are able to sample beer, wine, enjoy live music, desserts, the whole 9 yards.
Arena can provide a turnkey service from tents, tables and chairs, linens.
Everybody has a wonderful time, and it's something different out of the ordinary that we're able to do for our customers and for our vendors. They're able to just sit back and relax.
People want more than just a cover for weather. They were able to transform parking lots into amazing event venues.
Arena Rental is very easy to work with. I would recommend them to anybody.
For just a moment, think about your life without electricity. No lights, no refrigerator, no computers. It's hard to imagine, isn't it? American Transmission Company helps to keep the lights on. ATC's electric transmission lines deliver electricity from where it's generated to where it's needed. We help provide people in Wisconsin with economical, reliable power for their everyday life. American Transmission Company, helping to keep the lights on, businesses running, and communities strong.
And we're back here at the UW-Milwaukee Panther Arena awaiting the start of the second half of this first round playoff series. Central Division Championship quarterfinals of the Ron Newman MASL Cup playoffs between the Milwaukee Wave and the Cedar Rapids Rampage. Wave leading at 4-3 at halftime. And we're pleased to be joined by the commissioner of the Major Arena Soccer League, Josh Schwab. Josh, thanks for stopping in to spend a few moments with us here. Tell us about some of the recent developments. I know that there's been an adjustment to the schedule as far as when the season is going to start for next season, and also adding a couple of games. What other things can we look forward to for the upcoming season?
Sure, and I'll just touch on those. You know, imperative for the league to create more value for the fans, more value for the sponsors, and generally more revenue opportunities for our teams. You know, and when we add those games, we obviously spread across a lot more fixed expenses across our P&L. So I think overall a win for everybody. We then, in conjunction with that, pushed the start of the season back to December 1st. We're obviously missing more of football. In that case, we're now bumping into a little more stuff in the spring, but we feel we'll get a lot better dates in the spring from our arenas. And then also, just statistically looking at it, our attendance does go up in the spring. So if we can compile more games in the springtime, it's better off for everybody. So I think both of those moves by the board, you know, approving those measures is positive for arena soccer.
Underway here in the third quarter. Cedar Rapids with the possession as they go right to left in the blue and white. Milwaukee in their home green uniforms for today. Typically the Wave is either black or, as we like to call them, neon yellow, but today wearing the green in honor of the upcoming St. Patrick's Day, this upcoming Saturday. How about some of the other things, Josh, perhaps as far as global marketing, global discussions, maybe some stuff behind the scenes, what's been going on?
Sure, so I'll unveil, I guess, pull up the curtain. But yeah, everybody at this time of year wants to know about expansion. And last year, you know, we know that Toronto begins this year. They have a press conference coming up and an international game I'll be at next week to discuss that a little more. We're in a lot of discussion talks in the southern part of the United States. We continue to try to push Mexico, as we believe even our statistics and data are showing there is so much interest from the Mexican market for us. So we continue to push that.
As Cedar Rapids converts after a turnover by the Wave, Victor France is able to bang in the tying goal 52 seconds into the third period. And the Rampage and their small band of followers who are here today, not much Rafa Diaz could do to stop this one, as Victor France registers the goal on the assist from Gordy Gerson, who is having a monster offensive series here for the Rampage. And we are tied at 4 apiece. Cedar Rapids now has scored the last two goals. They got one with 18 seconds to go in the first half to make it 4-3 from Gerson off a free kick. And now they come back to score here early in the third period to tie it up. We got a barn burner here, Commissioner, no question about it.
We do, and has been for our playoffs. We've had some great games already in the playoffs. I expect 2 more tonight. Baltimore, obviously, and we're in Monterey tonight, so I expect a couple more. Great game here, as always. Great crowd. We've had. There we go.
And just like that, Max Ferdinand.
That's why this game is great, right? Come right back and score.
Oh, man. Talk about changing momentum. And it happened in short order, just 17 seconds after Cedar Rapids had tied it up. Max Ferdinand comes back to turn on the light for Milwaukee and put the Wave back up 5-4. But yeah, no question about it. This first round of the Ron Newman Cup playoffs has just been tremendous here so far.
Yeah, and no doubt from the commissioner's office, it's not only what's happening on the field, but what's happening in the stands. And we have had outstanding crowds. I know Baltimore sold out tonight. There's a huge crowd here in Milwaukee. It looks like 5,000 plus. Something that I think this league and leagues of similar stature have struggled with because there's such a short runway to sell playoffs. We as a league have accomplished in the last few years playoffs having quite, big crowds. And we're very proud of that from the league level. And it's also a product of going with the one and done format for semis and finals, I believe. and just in generally being able to lock in these dates a lot earlier for playoffs. So very proud of that from the league level, and we look to increase that.
You see the goalkeeper, Reiner House from Cedar Rapids, shaken up a bit. You saw in our Wisconsin Vision instant replay, kind of turned awkwardly on his right knee, although looks like they might be checking out his right hand or wrist a little bit. This has been a tough series for goalkeepers with the volume of shots and the acrobatic saves they've been making. Let's take a look one more time. You see the shot from Ferdinand, and Haas diving down. Oh, yeah, he landed on that right wrist with the rest of his body there, so I'm sure that's not feeling good. But, no, I think you do make a good point about the attendance that we've had here, the great sales staffs working for the teams. And, again, the competitiveness of this league, Josh, has just been tremendous this year.
Yeah, parity is one of those cornerstones that I know I was up here talking about last year. And parity in leagues create value. And we still as a league have a ways to go in that respect. But I'll tell you, when playoffs start, the parity is extreme. On a game-by-game basis, anyone can win. You saw it up there in Syracuse with a big lead, and Syracuse comes back. I mean, no one is outgunned in this playoffs. There are no gimmies in each of these rounds in each of these locations. It makes it exciting. It makes the atmospheres of these arenas just outstanding. And I put it on par with, you know, some of these hockey playoff crowds that you see. The intensity is there, and we absolutely love it, and this is what makes this sport great.
Here's Max Ferdinand trying to work his magic again. Again, we're talking with the commissioner of the Major Arena Soccer League, Josh Swap. You know, one thing that people have asked me, certainly myself and my broadcast partner, Art Kramer, is when is the MISL, how is the MISL trying to develop a bit more of a national profile? And I think with with regard to, you know, some of our colleagues or some of our friends and other contacts, these guys are big fantasy sports players, right, with all the other leagues. Perhaps what's the MASL working on, perhaps, to try to delve into that area?
Sure, and we look at other models, obviously, that do have a bigger profile and say, how do we get there? The one big one, and we saw this starting really, this is my second year in the MSL, so the first year, we redid our whole OTT streaming process. So now we have MASL TV. We're trying to increase the production level so fans not only in your arenas, but generally across the country and throughout the world can watch our games with good quality broadcast. That's going to increase interest. When you can clearly watch a game with multiple camera angles, see the speed of the game, see the intensity of the game, that's what's going to help grow that fan base. And then we're putting some marketing dollars behind those OTT broadcasts. We'll continue to improve upon that, continue to work on the production value within our arenas. I think the second prong, as you just mentioned, is, you know, the NFL and the NBA are not hyperly localized in terms of their awareness from fans. We are. So we have hyper awareness within the markets we rest, whether it be Milwaukee, Baltimore, Ontario, Tacoma. People know about us there. It's the outside cities that don't. Part of that is our stars aren't really broadcast through fantasy sports. Fantasy sports draws attention not only to your local team, but teams throughout the country, because you want to know what's going on in Baltimore, even though you may be sitting in San Diego or in Sonora. You know, you want to know what's going on up in Kansas City, because you may have a player in Kansas City on your fantasy team. So those are things we explore. The other thing that really generates a lot of interest for the NFL, NBA is gambling. And people look to those games because they're interested in gambling on those games, not necessarily the players. We're not ready for that. We're not ripe for that yet. Everything is on our purview how to grow the league. So those are just a few things we're doing to grow the awareness of arena soccer throughout the country. I think the growth into Canada is going to be big too, opening up a whole other country to have their eyes there. And the group up in Toronto is doing a great job marketing that team and that franchise and really what is going to happen in the future there.
Well, there you see Max Ferdinand getting up, shaken up on the previous play. That is definitely a man the Wave can ill afford to lose, and you can almost feel this crowd of about 5,000 or so holding their breath as Max was on the turf. One of Milwaukee's and the MASL's true superstars, and he limped off. Hopefully is going to be okay. It would really be a battle for Milwaukee to try to get through the rest of this one without Max. Meanwhile, off the restart, pass over to Ian Bennett. Shot is blocked. But this game here looks like it is bound for the wire, as they say. Be very surprised if this one does not come down to the final minute of play or perhaps a minigame today, the way these two teams are battling.
It's almost a replay of yesterday.
Yes, yes, got that feel. It's got that feel, except in a little bigger venue than what we had yesterday. So, well, anyway, it seems like the MASL is definitely on a positive trend here, Commissioner, as Diaz makes a nice save to stop Gerson, and then a follow-up save. Again, as Gerson trying to bid for the tying goal, gets it back again, and the third time is a charm for Gordy Gerson. And you talk about, again, another one of the league superstars, and looks like he may have hurt his ankle there, and they are immediately, oh, that's a celebration there. So that was the celebration. Well, he had me fooled there for a bit. Let's check it out one more time, the Wisconsin Vision Instant Replay. But again, Gordy Gerson, another one of those eclectic personalities, Josh, I think, who, you know, first time people, if they get to see him for the first time, maybe they don't want to see that, but he was holding up three fingers for the hat trick. He certainly is a dynamic performer and a great ambassador off the field. Again, just one of those energetic personalities with greater exposure, I think, would really have a lot of fans who love him, as the Wave comes right back to score again. And once again, we have back-to-back goals from the opposite sides, and Milwaukee still maintaining the one-goal advantage at 6-5. That was Daniel Shamali, by the way, who converted on that one more time in the Wisconsin Vision Instant Replay. Time of the goal at 4:29, and that came right after the kickoff on Gerson's goal, which happened at 4:11. So Gerson and Chamali scoring the last two. Milwaukee still leading it 6-5, and it's goals aplenty while we have the Commissioner Josh Schwab joining us here up in the booth.
You know, Tom, I got to mention too, you talked about the growth of arena soccer. The other thing that I think they really did a great job this year on was MASL2, which expanded our brand into 10 more markets. It's growing not only our player pool, but also our referee pool and coaches pool. And we really think there's a lot of potential for growth there. And some of the smaller arenas throughout the country, building pockets of divisional play, that's going to help grow the pyramid of arena soccer, which will help grow everything else as well.
Wave trying to take advantage of a Cedar Rapids turnover. Oh, that shot just rolled wide. And then the follow-up from Isaac Pereira is just right. Well, you know, there's no doubt in all the major sports leagues, as here's a potential chance for Cedar Rapids, and coming in, making the move, shot and a goal. I believe that's Manaman Kanawi. Yes, indeed. The rookie out of UMass Boston sticks one in to tie it up at 6 apiece. But talking about the regional rivalries and how the traditional, the great rivalries in all leagues has really sparked the, you know, the growth, the longevity, and really has been the thing, I guess, you know, generations of fans have related to in each of these leagues.
If our fans want to see some intense rivalries, you've got one in front of you here, but tonight, Monterrey and Sonora, it's a whole other atmosphere down in Mexico, and it's a great atmosphere. They play a different type of style of game than teams in the East and teams on the West, and even those teams play a different style. It's just a great divisional rivalry down there that was kind of rekindled when Monterrey came back in, and now you see a lot of former Sonora players on the Monterrey roster, which helps generate a lot of that intensity as well. So we really look forward to that game tonight, but you've got a great one in front of you here. And I won't say these teams dislike each other, but they know each other well. Let's put it that way.
Yes, indeed, they do. Wave took a 4-3 lead in the locker room at halftime. Cedar Rapids has outscored them 3-2 in this half. Ian Bennett trying to center on the play. Broken up. Wave calling for a handball, but they play on. And now Kanawi, who scored the latest goal coming in. It's a 3-2 for Cedar Rapids. He drops off far side, and that shot blasted off the post. Oh, Bobby Hurwitz puts one off the frame. That could have given Cedar Rapids the lead. 8.5 to go. Well, again, we appreciate you stopping by to visit with us here, Commissioner. Always a pleasure, and we'll look forward to seeing you again down the road. And congratulations again on a great second season as commissioner of this league, and certainly all the best going forward.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the game to the fans out there, and thank you to all the MASL fans. Appreciate your patronage. Thank you.
That's the commissioner of the Major Arena Soccer League, Josh Schaub. And meanwhile, we got a 6th game going on here at the Panther Arena in Milwaukee. Rejoined again by my colleague and Wave legend Hall of Famer Art Kramer.
Anything happened while I was gone, Tom?
Yeah.
5 goals in the first 6 minutes of the second half.
So we have come to the media timeout here in the 3rd quarter. Game tied at 6. Well, the pace certainly has not slackened since the start of this half. Wave was able to answer in short order each time Cedar Rapids scored to tie it up. And then the latest goal coming from Mohamed Kanawi at 5:31 of the 3rd period to even it out at 6 apiece. And again, I guess, Art, the thing I'm wondering, can these teams continue at this pace, for the duration of this game or series?
Well, you're seeing the fatigue lead to turnovers on the Wave ends. It's been very uncharacteristic. Actually, it was Marcio Leite, the guy who, if you want anybody to have the ball, has been guilty twice of giving the ball away in his own zone. And for Cedar Rapids, you saw Reiner House come up lame a little bit on that shot by Max Ferdinand. Bent the right fingers back, the right hand. And if you're the Wave, you want to test Reiner House with a high volume of shots to see how that right hand is.
Well, again, it's been a spectacular show for the fans here. That sequence where Kanawi ended up scoring, Wave looked like it had about a 95% opportunity to convert from in close to make it 7-5. And the Rampage was able to stop him, and then that's when Kanawi came down and scored the goal. And then just moments ago, Bobby Hurwitz, who I'm not sure even played in the first half, had a shot. And meanwhile, look who's exploding on the other end with his 4th goal of the contest, Gordy Gerson.
We talked about the Wave being better in transition in the first half. Well, this half, it's been all Cedar Rapids, and particularly that man, number 3, Gordy Gerson, left all alone inside the Wave penalty area, and he finishes again.
Well, Gerson is clearly proving why he's one of the superstars of this league. Leading scorer for Cedar Rapids during the regular season, and number 8 in the league scoring race with 49 points during the regular campaign. He tallies that one at 7:22. Chamali coming back, shot, save, house. Gerson from Drew Russell. And again, Gerson's 4th goal of the night. He's also got 2 assists. The leading postseason scorer in the MASL, Craig Childs, had 5 points to pace the league, and Gerson's had 6 in this game. Wow, Guernsey called for a foul. He's lucky he didn't get a blue card there. Look out one more time. Oh my goodness. Followed through in the middle, then almost
took the shoe right off of number 77, Marcio Leite.
And Marcio, I'm sure, is wondering why that wasn't a blue card. Now,
referee's going to talk about it over by the And now they've decided that it's going to be a blue card.
And I think a legitimate call, although you see Rampage, of course, is going to protest because it was sort of a delayed call. But I think clearly legitimate, especially when you look at that replay.
Well, and let's be clear on this. They did not look at the replay to make that call. They just went over and discussed with the third and fourth officials, Shane Butler and Ryan Sigich, and I think they got the call right. But once again, that wasn't through the use of video replay.
So Milwaukee getting ready to go on the power play. Wave is 1 for 1 today on the power play via the shootout conversion by Marcia Leite, as you see Sam Guernsey there. And Guernsey doesn't look too happy with the call.
I hope you're not a lip reader at home.
Well, at least not an English lip reader. That might have been universal, though, across all languages. Even our friends in worlds beyond could probably figure out what he was saying there. All right, Wave on the power play. They're actually now 2 for 2 in the series. Cedar Rapids does not have a penalty kill. Hurwitz is out there defensively, along with Edwin Rojas, Sandoval, and Derek Huffman. Wave with Chino, Angel Curial, Matos, Max Ferdinand. It was great to see Max back on the field after he was shaken up a bit earlier. Marcio, which is great to see him still out there, and Ian Bennett. Wave looking for a game-tying power play goal. And normally Ricardinho would be out there. He got injured a bit in the first half, so we don't see him out there. Max looking across, pass deflected. Chino tracking it down, lays it back top of the area. Matos hammers a shot above the crossbar. Oh, he had a good look at that one. You get it on the left foot of Daniel, he's usually going to get that on target.
From about the same spot that you talked about yesterday on the free kick. And he missed high that time as well.
He's got to bring her down about a foot or so. Marcio, Bennett, shot, kick save by Haas. Haas has been a saving machine here today. Marcio rolls it across in the middle. Chino trying to redirect, but he could not get it into the goal. Still 20 to go on the man advantage for Milwaukee. Ferdinand front and center. Bennett fires a shot that hit his teammate Marcio. Bennett again! Shot in the goal! Ian Bennett on the power play. And we're back to even at 7 apiece.
The Wave showing some great patience on that power play. They actually changed their formation about midway through, and watch this shot. Took a little deflection, and then I believe that House may have been screened in front as well. One more look at it here, Tom. See if this ball doesn't take a little bit of a deflection on the initial shot from Bennett. Might have gotten straight through, but House definitely screened that time.
Ian Bennett with the hat trick today. 5 in the series. Marcio Leite with the assist. As Marcio continues to be a playmaking machine in this series. That's his 5th helper. Well, no complaints about the Waves power play. 3 for 3 in this series. Cedar Rapids, during the regular season, was not a bad penalty killing team at 61%.
And both teams have converted on all their power play opportunities in this series. Is that correct, Tom?
That is correct, Art. There has not been a failed power play in 5 combined attempts.
5 for 5.
And Milwaukee during the regular season was an excellent penalty killing team. One of the tops in the league at 74%. Wave was also one of the better power play units at 47%. Bennett trying to chip one around the goalkeeper. Bennett gets it back, diving save, and Dennison rebound just high. And on the follow, Chad Vandagriff went up like he was going to slam dunk it.
Acrobatic attempt by Bennett, and even a more acrobatic save that time by Reiner House.
Boy, Reiner House, just amazing. He is putting together a season and career highlight film from today's game.
You mentioned Vandagriff. It was a good early ball forward to Bennett to create that attack.
Anybody who has any doubts if Chad Vandagriff can flush one down on the basketball court, I don't think they have to worry about that. He was way up in the air.
The Clippers need to sign him as a good compliment to DeAndre Jordan.
Chamale is in a collision with France, but they play on. Now Gerson. Kid Dynamite is knocked down from behind. He has exploded for 4 goals and 2 assists today. There you go. Look at Chamale, not nearly as emotional as Gordy Gerson. And I don't know how Victor France didn't get called for a foul there.
Here's that last foul on Gerson, and his reputation as being a bit of a diver may start late in the season in the playoffs to keep these referees from calling penalties.
3:39 to go here in the third. Gerson, he actually played a back shot by France, saved by Diaz. So Gerson actually did distribute the ball that time. Sandoval gets it back. And we'll move it across, and Cedar Rapids will reload.
One of those 5 goals while I was away, Tom, was scored by Victor France from Gerson. It was France's first goal of the series, and that's a guy that the Wave does not want to allow to get going. Talented left footer right there on the ball, Victor France.
France, who started the year with St. Louis, then went and got picked up in a trade that involved Pablo De Silva going to St. Louis, and finished up an excellent season with Cedar Rapids.
As a goal scorer, sometimes that's all it takes is just to get one to get yourself going. And to that point, the Wave had done a real nice job shutting down Victor France in this series.
Hurwitz cranks the shot. Stop made by Reiner Haas. Boy, the Wave desperately was trying to get the ball out of the zone. Cedar Rapids with good persistence to keep the pressure on. And I hate to say it, Art, but Cedar Rapids looks just a little bit quicker on the jump. I just think they're in a little better shape physically right now than Milwaukee is.
If you're playing against Cedar Rapids, one of your points of emphasis as a coach has got to be, don't let this team outwork you. And once again, their engine, their primary engine is number 3, Gordy Gerson. Now, guy you have to keep an eye on at all times.
And I'm not saying the Wave isn't working hard. The Wave is working their tail off, but I just think physically they're, because of the injuries and a little less depth than the Rampage, they're having a bit of a struggle here. Huffman cranks one up into the stands. But nobody will question the heart of either of these teams and the way they've been playing today. I'm telling you, this has been a series for the ages as far as first-round playoff series go.
And give a ton of credit to Ante Chope and the players in blue on Cedar Rapids. I said it earlier, a lot of people thought that this was just going to be an easy series for the Wave, and felt going in, there's no way that was going to be the case.
Well, Ante's done a great job, and I think you have to do the same for Wave coach Giuliano Oliviero, working with a somewhat limited roster at this point, and the way they've been able to battle and stay with it. Without Josh Lemos, one of the league's top goalkeepers, possibly out for the season. Without Robert Renaud since midseason, possible league MVP, went out with the torn ACL. And then in recent days, the guys they've lost, Marcio with a shot that's just wide right. Andre Hain, Guilherme Vega, you've got Santos and Drew Russell just playing on one leg each. So,
no, you're right. I've spoken a lot about Ante Chope and what a great job he's done. But Giuliano Oliviero, Marcelo Fontana, outstanding job the past 2 seasons. My office is at the Brookfield Indoor Soccer Complex. I get to see this team practice on a daily basis. And Giuliano has just really emerged as one of the top coaches in indoor soccer.
Shot was up in the stands, but before that, foul was called as Guernsey got dumped. Sam, Guernsey getting a little wound up as things go by, but I'll tell you what, emotions are definitely reaching a fever pitch here between these teams.
If you're Cedar Rapids, that's absolutely what you want to do. You saw Guernsey getting in the face of Ian Bennett. Well, hey, I'll take a trade-off right there. We both go to the box.
That would definitely be a good trade-off for Cedar Rapids. All right.
Dangerous opportunity right here. Number 3, Kid Dynamite on the ball for Cedar Rapids.
He lays it off the near side, and the shot is rejected. Drew Ruggles might have made the block there.
It was Rafa at the near post. Good read that time by the big man. Slid across to the near post to make the save.
Rafa is not, like we talked about, the sveltest goalkeeper you're going to see, but he is still quick as a cat at age 35.
Just like Troy Dososki. Both of them quick as cats.
Down in the final 10 seconds of the third period. If you've been watching this so far, I have a feeling you will stick around and watch the fourth period of this contest.
And hopefully for Wave fans, it's just the fourth quarter.
Yes, because if Cedar Rapids wins the fourth quarter, we will go to a mini game to decide this series. 7-7 as we go to the fourth, fans. We're coming back with the final quarter of game 2.
Arena has experience in some of the biggest events in the country, and we're able to bring that same expertise to local events. We do a lot of corporate anniversaries, company parties. Most of them never plan events like this, so they're looking for our experience to plan these events with them.
Well, every August, we have our customer appreciation party where we close down the restaurant. Customers are able to sample beer, wine, enjoy live music, desserts, the whole 9 yards.
Arena can provide a turnkey service from tents, tables and chairs, linens.
Everybody has a wonderful time, and it's something different out of the ordinary that we're able to do for our customers and for our vendors. They're able to just sit back and relax.
People want more than just a cover for weather. They were able to transform parking lots into amazing event venues.
Arena rental is very easy to work with. I would recommend them to anybody.
Experience Wisco Hotels, a broad selection of quality hotels throughout the state of Wisconsin for the value-minded traveler. Whether you're looking for a hotel in Milwaukee, Madison, Fond du Lac, Appleton, or Oshkosh, Wisco Hotels has you covered with great service, comfort, convenience, outstanding hotel rates, special hotel promotions, and so much more. To book your room or to get more information, visit WiscoHotels.com. Wisco Hotel Group, proud partners of your Milwaukee Wave.
Go where the pros go for chiropractic care, massage therapy, and exercise rehabilitation. Goodyear Chiropractic Health Center, the official chiropractor and massage therapist for the Milwaukee Wave.
So here we go. The fourth quarter of game 2 of the Central Division Championship Series between the Milwaukee Wave and the Cedar Rapids Rampage. Tom went along with the Wave Hall of Famer Art Kramer. Milwaukee and Cedar Rapids tied at 7. And just like yesterday's game 1, a 9-8 Wave overtime victory down in the Chicago area against Cedar Rapids. This one would appear to be headed down the wire as well, Art Kramer.
7's the lucky number today, Tom. It was 4-3 at the half, 7 goals. And in the third quarter alone here tonight, 7 goals scored, and we're tied 7-7.
The superstars of each team have come up big today. Ian Bennett for the Wave with a hat trick. Gordy Gerson for the Rampage, 4 goals, 2 assists. the kid dynamite of indoor soccer, and he certainly has exploded today.
So if you're Wave coach Giuliano Oliviero, that's got to be one of your points there at the end of the third quarter is let's mark Gerson. If anyone's going to beat us, it can't be number 3, Gordy Gerson.
Wave with the kickoff, they go right to left. Rafa Diaz, the goalkeeper, and looking to the corner for Hans Dennison, but he served up a little high.
Talked about the back-to-back games for Rafa Diaz and whether fatigue would be a factor. And I think you've seen some of that with his distribution here today.
Rafa started just one game this year. That was the regular season finale. After Josh Lemos went down with a shoulder injury, he had made a few other appearances in relief prior to that, but this is his 3rd consecutive start for the Wave in a span of 8 days. So that's certainly more minutes that he's played in close succession since a couple of years ago when he was goalkeeping for the Detroit Waza.
The steps to the finish line here for the Wave is to get the next goal and then force Cedar Rapids to chase through your possession.
Nice little touch there to get it. Bennett lays it off far side, and the shot just high by Isaac Pereira. Pretty good layoff there by Bennett after a nice initial touch by Isaac. Isaac getting a lot of playing time these last few weeks with the injuries to some of Milwaukee's forwards. Most notably Andre Hain out for the year with a knee injury. And a foul called on Marcio as Oswaldo Rojas draws the call.
Where's Gordy going to go with this one, Tom? Same spot he scored from directly earlier in the game. A little bit closer.
He has to be thinking about it. He's got Huffman back and to his left. Great chance here for Gerson in the Rampage. Now Marcio jumps up in the defensive wall. Ball centered on the play and cleared out by the Wave.
Chamali that time with the block.
Rojas, Gerson tried to lay it off the wall far side on the run through by Kanawi. And good defensive effort by Pereira to cut it off. Isaac trying to muck his way up the board. Boy, what an effort there. Here he comes. 2-1 Mochino. Still coming. Shot saved by Haas, who was dangerously close to handling that ball outside the area.
What a great effort that time by Pereira. He out-battled 3 Cedar Rapids players in his own zone and then went the length of a field and forced Haas to make a save.
Rampage continue with the relentless upfield pressure. Jonathan Santos back in the lineup today and really not even close to 100%, but he was forced back in there because Guilherme Vega, who gave it a go yesterday at far less than 100%, could not go today.
Once again, another distribution out of play that time from Rafa. Said it earlier, the Wave needs to limit the amount of times they give Rafa the ball right now. Let him use his energy to make saves.
Late, good effort there to keep it going forward. Now taking away Victor France. France trying to get inboard, he got cut off. Vandagriff takes it away, plays it upfield, a little too far for Chamali.
Wave's got to make sure they keep an eye on the player at the far post. They've allowed Cedar Rapids a number of times today to get to the back post unmarked.
France to the middle, ball cleared away. Vandagriff chasing, and Haas almost with a disastrous error there. Now Max takes it away, but a good recovery there by the Rampage. Max trying to get it back with Sandoval right there behind him.
Haas was very fortunate that time that Vandagriff didn't get the steal and a tap into the empty net.
Gerson is cut down and foul called on Chino.
Gordy Gerson doing the tap out there. That was one of their goal scoring celebrations this year after one of their goals. They did a WWE skit where Gerson tapped out.
How about today when he did the old fake injury where they carried him off? He had me fooled there for a moment. he is one of the league's eclectic personalities. Coach Giuliano Oliviero looking on, hoping that Chino is okay. Again, Milwaukee just hanging on a very thin line physically. France will crank one up to the Eiffel Tower above the Goon.
Victor France is a very talented player. Great technical abilities, got the big left foot. I told you yesterday, he reminds me of a former star in indoor soccer, Dennis Brose. Has a lot of the same tendencies, but Victor France, his shooting has been off target here in this series.
Intercepted at midfield by Alvarez. Laid it off far side. Bradley with a shot that's off the mark. Pereira battling for it. Took it away from Alvarez momentarily. Now Edwin Rojas with a shot blocked by Santos. Bennett on the far side. Bradley able to take it away. Bradley, the rookie from Loras College in Iowa. British native who eventually came to Iowa because his aunt was living in Dubuque. And the shot rejected and all the way back for Reiner Haas. Rampage again with the possession. Now try to wickle one to the post. Shot save by Rafa Diaz. Max coming back, 2-on-3. Fires a shot and a goal. Max Ferdinand, 8-7 wave.
One player in the league you don't want running at you and facing your goal, and that's that man, Max Ferdinand. We saw him do it yesterday in game one, just single-handedly undressing the Cedar Rapids defense, and then uses the Rampage defender as a screen to beat House to the far post. One more look at it, through the legs of the defender. Bennett providing the screen in front. That's what you need your superstars and big players to do, come up big when the time counts. And Max Ferdinand has been the man of the series so far for the Milwaukee Wave.
It said third of the postseason, that's actually his fourth. He's had a couple today to go with two yesterday. 8-7 Wave, but believe me, nobody's resting on their laurels right now the way this game is going.
Said it, the steps to the finish line was get the early lead. Now let's see if the Wave gets possession. Should have let that one go for 3 lines, by the way, Hans Dennison. But get possession now and make Cedar Rapids chase you.
Quick restart here. Dennison on a 3-2. Hans coming in, lays it off far side. And the attempted shot by Pereira, but Asa's there to stuff it.
What you don't want to do right now is get into an up and down game. You've got the lead, you got a 1-0 lead in the series. Force Cedar Rapids to chase. 9, 10, 11 passes every time you get possession. There's 3.
Denson goes off for a change as Leite plays it over to Vandagriff. Now back for Chamale. Vandagriff and Chamale both missing the first half of the season. Vandagriff due to injury, Chamale due to immigration situation. But they've both been out there and they're about as physically healthy as anybody. So Wave really needs these guys to keep playing well out there.
Wave on 12 passes consecutively right now. This was a staple of their play. He went in championships many years with Keith Tozer.
Errant pass there, picked up by Bradley for Cedar Rapids. Goes the corner for France. Cut off on the play, and eventually the Wave clears. Bennett looking up ahead. Here comes Max. He's 1-on-2. Max, does he have more magic? Look at Max. Boy, put down by Huffman. No call, top of the area.
Once again, keep the ball.
Still a long way to go in this one. Arcio looking up. Pereira couldn't make the move. Chino is back to get it. Good to see Chino back in there after he was shaken up a bit.
Little different than the Odeum. At the Odeum, you couldn't afford to take your foot off the gas a little bit because of the size of the arena. Much bigger venue here. Forced the guys in blue to run and chase and expend energy trying to win the ball back. Not a good distribution again by Rafa.
Yeah, you're right. Rafa's distribution has definitely suffered here the second half today. Coming in. Shot, save! Haas on a great left foot strike by Pereira. Chino gets it back. Angel Curiel, who helped Monterey win the MASF title back in 2015.
That extended possession will lead to Cedar Rapids being stretched out, and you get better chances in the attack by doing so.
Vandagriff with it.
Oh, and Vandagriff is very fortunate that that's not 2 minutes. That's an intentional handball right there on Vandagriff. That absolutely should be 2 minutes.
I totally agree with Cedar Rapids on that one. Chad in frustration.
That's one of those no-brainers where it has to be called.
Yeah. Chad and the Wave got a break there for sure. Rojas out to Russell. Shot saved by Diaz. Oh, Drew Russell cranking one off a nice pass from Osvaldo Rojas.
His distribution has suffered a little bit, but still making the big saves in the nets for the Wave, Rafa Diaz.
And a weak shot on that time. Russell couldn't get much on the left foot. Diaz scooping it up. Santos.
Look at that first step by Marcio.
Marcio, oh, trying to go across for Bennett, but couldn't quite get it on the angle there. Dennison, though, good step up at midfield.
And then a good decision, Tom, to back it out once again.
One thing about Hans, he gives you a steady veteran presence out there for sure. Just turned 34 a couple days ago. Ian Bennett turning. Ian shot off the mark. Haas was down, but Ian could not get much of an angle on that one. And this will bring us to our official timeout. I believe there was a whistle on the field.
Ball went out of bounds. Gerson played it into his own bench.
So, should be our media timeout, but, well, anyway.
So let's go into the huddle, Tom, with the Wave right now. You got just over 6 minutes on the clock, but if you're Giuliano Oliviero, you're not talking about the 6 minutes to the finish line. You're telling your team, get Cedar Rapids down to the 2 minute mark where they'll have to pull their goalie. So instead of focusing on the 6, you say, hey, couple shifts for each player. We got to get them to where they need to pull their goalie. The Wave asking the referees to take a look at the video review. I'm not sure what they would like to see.
Unless somebody had indicated they thought it was a delay of game, that the ball was cleared defensive end, but Gerson was all the way up at mid. That's why.
Yeah, no, it was over the yellow line.
So.
And Chris Kokalis down there asking Ryan Sigich why that wasn't a 2 minute penalty on the handball.
Well, he's got a point there. He definitely has a point there. You know.
Look at Ante Choke down in their huddle, Tom. Very, very animated with his players.
Ante bringing the fire here down the stretch.
Yes, he is. You talk about a jockey on a horse, and when do you whip the horse, right? Because if you whip the horse too much, it's going to stop running. And right now, Ante pulling out the whip on his players, looking for a little response here in the last few minutes.
Well, the action here has just been tremendous. You know, we've had some great playoff series over the years. Certainly our last year's battle with Kansas City in the first round, which went to a third mini game, and the Wave winning in OT. That was a great one, but I'll tell you, this one takes second seat to none of our matchups that we've seen in recent years.
Some of the fans watching online wanted to know why the referees did not look at that handball and review it for replay. And my understanding is they don't look at plays to determine whether it should have been issued a blue card. Remember, the one they did after the fact earlier in the game was not because of video review. They had a discussion about it. but that's not one of the 3 criteria that they would review. Would an earlier play result in a blue card foul?
Reiner Haas, the goalkeeper for Cedar Rapids, plays it up ahead. Bennett breaks it up, but it comes back to Guernsey for Cedar Rapids. They keep the pressure on Haas. Bennett heads it back, and that one will stay in play. And as Pereira tried to get to the far board, Sam Guernsey cracked him down. During the regular season, Milwaukee was the 3rd highest scoring team in the league with 172 goals. They scored 9 yesterday, working on 8 so far today.
See this restart, Tom. The Wave only has 4 players on the field because Ian Bennett wants a change. Giuliano Oliviero elects to run the play instead of calling timeout. Wants to save that timeout in case he needs it down the stretch.
Chino cranks up the left footer. It's wide.
5 to go, and once again, Wave's got to be thinking, can we get to where Ante has to take a timeout and go to the 6th attacker?
Each possession now really huge for both teams. Santos steps in to get it. Jonathan, I would say, Art, he's probably only playing at about 75, 80%. He's done a heck of a job today to hang in there, despite working on a bum knee.
No question, but his 75%, remember, the rest of the players on the field all played in a physically taxing game yesterday, so it probably balances out a little bit for him. But no question, great effort by Jonathan Santos here today on the Waves back line.
And, you know, and even though Cedar Rapids may not have the formal injuries, the guys sitting out due to injury, they definitely are banged up a bit, so I'm not trying to lessen their effort at all today. You get to this stage of the season, obviously, no team is going to have all their guys 100%.
Ante Chope talking to his players down on the bench, discussing what's going to happen here as far as the 6th attacker.
Gerson tried to play it off the inboard. Good defense there by Chad Vandagriff. Ian Bennett with it. Ian trying to go up the wall for Pereira, but Rapids gets it back.
Seen some questionable game management this year in the league in late game situations, but I can guarantee you one guy that knows late game situations and how to manage it is Ante Chope.
Huffman trying to create some space. He does, coming near side. Shot save made by Diaz. Follow up Gerson, stopped by Diaz again.
Two big saves by Rafa. The second one on Gordy Gerson at the near post.
Boy, Rafa.
Ante motioning over to his goalie, Reiner Haas, to take a timeout the next time he gets possession of the ball.
One more time on the Wisconsin Vision instant replay. Great stop there on Huffman. And then on Gerson, following up, looking for his 5th goal of the afternoon. Another State Farm Insurance save of the game for that man right there, Rafa Diaz. Come down to less than 3. Chino fires a shot, save made by Haas.
See right there, the Wave had got to know that they were going to call timeout. That's a situation where you want to keep the ball as long as you can. The reward of taking that low percentage shot was not worth the risk. Now Cedar Rapids is able to pull their goalie.
That was just like Jabari Parker throwing up a quick shot on the shot clock. So, the situation again, if the Wave can hang on to win this game, they would win the series 2-0. If Cedar Rapids rallies to win this game, which they could tie it up in regulation and then we'd go to overtime for game 2, then we would, if they would manage to do that, we would have a 15-minute mini game, game 3, to determine the series, again with a sudden death golden goal winner. And the winner of the series will go on to play either Baltimore or Syracuse in the Eastern Conference Final. That series to be determined tonight in Baltimore, with the Blast leading it 1-0. On the Western Conference side, you have San Diego, which is already advanced past Tacoma. And then tonight, Monterey and Solis de Sonora to determine who the Sockers will face in the Western Conference Championship. Both Western and Eastern Conference Championships just one-game affairs at the home of the highest seeded team.
We talked about the steps to the finish line for the Wave. Here we are. 6 attacker time for Cedar Rapids. And the mindset of the Wave has got to be, right now, their 6th attacker defense has got to be attack their 6th attacker. Get possession of the ball, put it in the back of the net, and we're celebrating. You can't sit back and let them come at you. Look at the Wave. They've been there before. High pressure right off the bat. They're looking to end this with a quick empty net goal.
Joshio Sandoval, the 6th attacker for Cedar Rapids.
You see teams in this situation become tentative and they become concerned about what can go wrong. The way to win games and win championships is to go at people aggressively and play to win and not to hold on.
Oh! Giveaway there. Almost a chance. Daniel Tamale. Just a little high as he tried to strike it first time. But good point, Art. The Wave is not laying back in this 6th attacking situation for Cedar Rapids. Ian Bennett, one of the most lethal scores against the 6th attacker. Ian will crank up the shot and the save made by Sandoval.
Great save by Sandoval as the 6th attacker. That would have been the dagger right there.
2 minutes to go. Cedar Rapids with it, they go left to right.
Cedar Rapids hasn't gotten it into the Wave zone yet.
Huffman with it out high. He's out there along with Alvarez, who has it right now, and the 6th attacker, Sandoval. France, Gerson, and that's Oswaldo Rojas also out there. Oswaldo trying to redirect, covered up by Diaz.
90 seconds, let's see if the Wave takes a timeout here. Good move by Giuliano Oliviero.
And look at Rafa Diaz. He has come through big time for the Wave in these playoffs. Just needs to hang in there for 90 seconds more.
Giuliano showing you his experience in this situation. As a former player and coach, he's been in these situations many times. You had your 6 attacker unit kill off right about a minute to a minute and a half there. And now call timeout and let those players that are on your first unit recover and they can go right back out there. Because 2:40 left when Cedar Rapids called the timeout, you're probably going to need 2 units to kill that 2:40. But with that timeout, remember, he saved it about 4 minutes ago when he had a restart with only 4 men on the field. That's the reason he did it for this situation right here. Great coaching by Giuliano Oliviero.
Remember, fans, to keep in touch with the Milwaukee Wave and future playoff dates and other potential developments, go to the Wave website at MilwaukeeWave.com. You can also call the Wave office at 414-224-WAVE. MilwaukeeWave.com, your source for everything Wave. Game schedule, tickets, news, merchandise, camps. It's all there. MilwaukeeWave.com. Great crowd of almost 5,000 today. They have seen a whale of a game. And most of them, except for the Cedar Rapids fans, hoping that there's only 90 seconds more to go.
If you're the Wave, keep the ball in play. No turnovers from your own zone. If you're Cedar Rapids, work to get off a good shot here in the last 70 seconds.
France with it, working against Max Ferdinand. Ferdinand, Bennett. Looks like Stuart Grable is out there. Santos and Marcio. Ball loose off the board. Santos with it. Santos trying to launch downfield, but
should have played Bennett and let him attack.
Here we go. Final 46. And deflected off Gerson, picked up by Diaz. Rafa going to lead the break. Well done to clear up field.
Wave choosing to back off here. I would like to see Ian continue to pressure, not allow Cedar Rapids to come forward.
Sandoval with it. He came on with about 2:45 to go as the extra attacker. Wave trying to hang on to this 1-goal lead. Sandoval's pass coming to the corner. Gerson with it. Gerson, 4 goals, 2 assists today. Good effort there initially by Santos to try to clear it away. There's a shot by Osvaldo Rojas as well. And now a missed touch there. Wave has it.
That's going to do it.
Ball launched downfield. This is going to do it. The Wave is going to win 8-7 and clinch this series against Cedar Rapids. And you see the embrace between Rafa and Marcio Liete. A lot of heroes in this series for the Wave, but I don't know if there's any bigger than Rafa Diaz.
No question about it. He's come up big when they needed it. The injury to Josh Lemos. So many stars in this series from both teams. Fun to watch. The game down in Chicago yesterday and then this one today. A great battle. You see Stuart Grable there. 12 stitches in that head from a blow yesterday. We saw Giuliano Oliviero right there after the game. What a job of coaching down the stretch by Giuliano. How he managed the game there in the last 3 minutes was outstanding.
Well, this series between the teams, I mean, a true credit to the Major Arena Soccer League and the type of game and competitiveness and the battle. And yeah, it was physically intense, but still within a sportsmanlike context. And I'll tell you, for the fans who got to see both games, this was really a great show.
And that man right there, Max Ferdinand, what a game changer in both games. See the referee crew, I thought they did a pretty good job in both games this series. Drew Ruggles right there, Reiner House, Ruggles with the big goal.
Well, like you said, a lot of stars on both sides. Jonathan Santos, who was pressed into duty today and came up big, especially down the stretch. And so the Wave, for the 4th consecutive year, wins a first-round series.
See Marcio Liete right there with a long, long hug and some words with head coach Ante Chope. And what a job Ante Chope did with this Cedar Rapids Rampage team midway through the season to come on.
Getting ready for our post-game interview, Van McNeil will interview our PCI, hardest working player of the game. And again, a lot of candidates to choose from today. Everybody on the Wave had to work hard throughout today's game to pull this one out. No doubt about that. Let's send it down to Van McNeil.
Time for the Professional Construction Incorporated hardest working player of the game. We not only have one, we have got two. We start with number 26, Ian Bennett. This win has to feel amazing, Ian.
Yeah, man, honestly, to perform in front of these fans, man, these guys are awesome. It's exciting, man. It was a tough game today, man. I'm not gonna lie, but it's not all about goals sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta put your hard hat on and put that work in.
Definitely the PCI hard hat. We're putting it on right now, baby. Our presenting sponsors, Professional Construction Incorporated. Yesterday you told me after hitting that game winner, we ain't finished yet, and we're still not finished, Ian.
No, that's what it's about in the playoffs, man. You gotta keep taking. If you want it, you gotta go out there and grab it, man. You can't wait. They're not gonna give you anything. Cedar Rapids played one heck of a game, man, and they weren't gonna give us anything, so we gotta keep fighting, we gotta keep working, man, and we got another tough game coming up. We're gonna prepare. Giuliano is like a fine wine. He keeps getting better and better with age. So we just got to keep doing what we do.
All right, one of our hardest working player of the game, number 26, Ian Bennett. As we see Ian take off, we come back here to our second hardest working player of the game. That would be the man in goal right here, Rafael Diaz. My goodness, Rafa, after yesterday's game and today's game, you gotta be feeling amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thank you, everyone. It's an amazing crowd. You guys so amazing. I gotta say congratulations to Cedar Rapids team. They did an awesome season. They did a great 2 games. It was really tough, but we got there.
So we move on. The Eastern Conference Finals coming up next. Baltimore, Syracuse, does it even matter? We're in.
Yeah, doesn't matter what's coming. We gotta be ready. And for sure, we need the support for everyone. If it's here or if it's away, We got advice.
And we'll find that out in just a little later this afternoon. He had 29 saves on the night. Give it up for our other Professional Construction Incorporated hardest working player of the game, number 82, Rafa Diaz. So, Wave fans, here is the deal. Game 2 between Baltimore and Syracuse happens in Baltimore this afternoon at 5 o'clock. You can watch that game live and for free at MASL TV. Now, here's the scenario. If Baltimore wins, the home game will be in Baltimore. We're looking at March 16th. If Syracuse wins, the game will be right here. That's what we want, Wave fans, right? That will be coming up in March as well. We will get you those dates. Stay tuned to MilwaukeeWave.com, our Facebook page, and all of our social outlets. So, final score, Game 2 of the Major Arena Soccer League Central Division Championship Series. Wave 8, Rampage 7. We'll get more playoffs, Wave fans. Are you ready? Thanks for watching. Let's go Wave.